Hey guys, JV here, doing something a little bit different today. I went back through a lot of my old videos last week and found this Mass Effect Andromeda video I made almost a year ago. It was 5 things I wanted in Mass Effect Andromeda, uploaded several months before launch. Now, since the game's been out for a while now, I thought it'd be cool to revisit what I wanted from Andromeda to see if I got what I wanted, and also to really reflect on the game as a whole. As always, if you like what I do here and want to see more, be sure to subscribe. Alright, I have to prepare myself to listen to my own voice while you guys also listen to me talk about my own voice. This is going to be interesting. Hey guys, JV here, bringing you 5 things I'd love to see in Mass Effect Andromeda. Wow, I really put on my movie voice there. 5 things you want to see, I want to see, everyone wants to see. I'm a huge Mass Effect fan, and I've played through the original trilogy probably more times than I can count on one hand, or 2. Like many of us, I'm really looking forward to Andromeda. Here are a few things I need to see in the next chapter of Mass Effect. Wow, really enthusiastic. Oh, look at that spoiler warning. I really enjoy playing with the holy trinity of Mass Effect abilities. Assault, Biotic, and Tech have always been the 3 areas of focus, and each class had a different combination of each. Full Assault, you're a soldier. Full Biotic, you're an adept. Full Tech, you're an engineer. If you wanted a cool mix of 2, you had the Vanguard, Sentinel, and Infiltrator as well. These class concepts made sense and worked beautifully, but they've been around since the very first game. Maybe that's a testament to just how well they've worked. Regardless, it's definitely time for new classes in Andromeda. Ryder can't just be Shepard 2.0. Whether it's a new set of classes or an entirely new class system, I want to see something new in Andromeda. A great starting point would be Mass Effect 3's multiplayer, which featured a ton of creative different class combinations. I'm not saying BioWare needs to scrap biotics or do anything crazy like that. Just give us some fresh new tools to play around with, and I'll be happy. That's really solid. I mean, wow. I definitely did a lot more editing. I think this was right when I was trying to figure out what I was doing with the channel, and I was just phasing out of Fallout, because this was uploaded in September of 2016. But yeah, I have to agree with myself. I'm like, wow, this guy makes a lot of sense. I have to agree with a lot of what I said. New classes would have been cool. As we know, we didn't really get new classes. We got a different kind of class system where you could kind of shape your own class, so to speak. So yeah, Andromeda really abandoned the classes. You know, that classic RPG archetype where you pick something and you're funnel through it and you're, you know, min-maxing what you want to be good at, what you don't really care about, stuff like that. So they abandoned that for this free and open system, which I thought was good in some ways, but looking back, you know, I'm not sure that I liked only having 3 active abilities. That's something that kind of concerned me, I know, when they first showed it off and confirmed, oh yeah, you're only going to have 3 active abilities, not like 5, however many it was before. But I think it was just a different version of what I was talking about. But again, I would have liked to have had more active abilities in Andromeda. All right, now let's look at the next point I had here. We know Andromeda takes place long after the Shepard saga. Saren, Reapers, Elusive Man, all of that is in the history books at this point. At least I hope so. Andromeda is also super far away from the Milky Way, like really far away. I understand all of these obstacles, but I would love to see some familiar faces. Garrus's badass grandson, who is also a beast with a sniper, and my wingman who always has my back? Check. Liara, because she's an Asari and they live for hundreds of years? Check. I like Asari. Captain Anderson, because he's the best damn captain in the galaxy? Check. Heck, why not throw Shepard in there too? He's already died a few times, so why can't he live for a few hundred more years? We do know that our hero is called the Pathfinder, and our goal is to find a new home for humanity in the Andromeda galaxy. BioWare recently confirmed that Ryder brings a few familiar races along in his journey. I guess that explains why we have an Asari running and jumping around in the 4K tech gameplay. While Andromeda is a whole new galaxy and a different Mass Effect game, I would love for BioWare to bring back some familiar faces. Yeah, totally. So we didn't get any familiar faces, and I think this was before it was confirmed that it was a 600-year journey, and we were able to form all of that speculation about, oh, Asari could have made it, so we could see an Asari, you know, like Liara, for example, or some kind of Krogan that we knew, because they live, you know, Asari and Krogan live a long time, right? And so that's kind of what I was angling for. The Shepard, Anderson, you know, Garrus's grandson stuff was a little silly, but yeah, I mean, they could have been put into cryogenic sleep, and not Garrus, you know, we've already talked about that. They were in Mass Effect 3, you know, the arcs launched between 2 and 3. We know that. What we did get in Andromeda were recordings from Liara, so that was kind of cool, and we got several references to people we had met in the past, like what was that Turian chick in the Omega DLC? Kandros. We got one of the Turians who was related to that character in Omega DLC for Mass Effect 3. So we got several different callbacks. Those aren't all of them, but we didn't exactly get familiar faces. Nobody just showed up randomly. And I think ultimately, if they were going for something completely new and not retreading old, you know, characters, that was probably a good thing. So that's the direction they went in. And so we didn't get, you know, familiar faces in the way I was suggesting. Let's see what's next. The Reapers are all too familiar if you played the original trilogy. Sentient, killer shrimp monsters, more advanced than humanity could even possibly imagine. Every 50,000 years, they swoop down and wipe out all advanced sentient life without skipping a beat. Until they met Shepard, of course. The first time I discovered the Reapers and the Protheans was one of my favorite moments in gaming history. The weight of their presence was felt throughout Shepard's journey, and it all culminated with the final decision in Mass Effect 3. As great as that was, I want Andromeda to present a new enemy, a new threat that isn't the Reapers, but somehow just as terrifying. It could be the Leviathans, or it could be something entirely new. Whatever the new threat is, it will be difficult for BioWare to pull off the sense of urgency and imminent doom that they did in the original Mass Effect. Just please, for the love of Shepard, don't make them shrimp-shaped.
Shepard.
Andromeda is... Whoa, yes, man, I was on my meme game back then. Clearly we had new threats in the Ket and the Jardan, whatever, we don't really know what's going on there, but clearly there was other things going on besides the Reapers, and they were on a lot smaller scale and scope. I mean, who knows, if there is a sequel to Andromeda, we may see that the Ket represent an even larger danger than we encountered in just the Helios cluster. I think a lot of people forget that we were just in one cluster of the Andromeda galaxy. And so we definitely did have new threats, but as I mentioned, it was very hard for BioWare to capture the same sense of urgency, but at the same time, I don't think they were trying to. I think they were going for something else entirely with this entire new theme for Andromeda, which was about discovery, exploration, figuring out who Ryder is, how he fits in the world or she fits in the world, and how they operate as a leader. So definitely there was a difference in tone there. And so in terms of a new threat, we definitely did get something different and something that really didn't match the urgency that the Reapers presented in the Mass Effect original trilogy. And I don't think it's really fair to even expect that because of how amazing they were. All right, let's move on. Is a game that's being called the spiritual successor to the original Mass Effect. The emphasis is on exploration. Ryder is the Lewis and Clark, the Ferdinand Magellan, the Christopher Columbus of humanity. But what they didn't have is a jetpack, which is already a breath of fresh air considering how linear their original trilogy really is. I want Andromeda to have as much freedom of exploration as possible. Looking back at the original Mass Effect, there were plenty of planets to explore.
God, where did I get this video?
The problem was, nothing was going on those planets. That sounds a lot like a recent game that just came out. Most of the time, you would find abandoned buildings and the occasional firefight in the one structure on the entire planet. Making these random planets feel interesting and worth visiting felt more like an afterthought than a goal for BioWare. Fortunately, this time around, they've mentioned several times that they want to achieve some of the things they weren't able to do in the first game. Technology and experience has afforded them an opportunity to make exploration much, much better. I just hope they really nail it this time around. Also, I can tell you right now that there's probably going to be some sort of resource gathering in this game.
That's right.
Rebuilding a place for humanity ain't gonna be cheap, y'all. Please, don't let it be as dull and awful as the planet scanning in Mass Effect 2, please.
Wow. Okay. I was really laying it on there thick with all the memes and jokes. But yeah, in terms of better exploration, it's funny, my view on this has definitely shifted after playing Andromeda. As you could hear there, I was like, let's not be linear. Let's have these big open worlds that we can explore, more like what was promised in the original Mass Effect game, which, you know, you could go to certain planets and see what was going on there, but it was kind of a small-ish map. There wasn't a ton of exploration to do, not nearly on the scale that we got in Andromeda. But it's funny how this definitely shifted for me. After playing Andromeda, I feel like I want a more linear Mass Effect game because it worked so well, you know? And it's like, why change a great thing? And again, hindsight's 2020, but yeah, that's really how it turned out for me with Andromeda. In hindsight, I'm not sure if what I wanted was the best for Mass Effect, and some of you may disagree with me on that, but yeah, I want to see Mass Effect return to more linear mission structure and all of that. So yeah, let's continue. Mass Effect veterans are no stranger to difficult decisions. It's something the franchise has done oh so very well since the very beginning. Shepard has always been at the center of the conflict. Making hard choices is his bread and butter. Choosing Ashley or Kaidan on Vermeer. Choosing how to handle the genophage cure. Choosing to ally with the Geth or the Quarians. There are literally too many tough decisions to count. These painfully impactful decisions had ripple effects that could be felt in almost every single game. While we don't know if Andromeda will be a trilogy yet, I sincerely hope BioWare gives us hard decisions to make. Finding a new home for humanity can't be all sunshine and rainbows. No.
We are most definitely going to step on some toes somewhere along the way. On the same note, Paragon and Renegade need to return in some form or fashion. With games like Fallout 4 completely abandoning their karma system, Andromeda needs to let us be good or evil. The beauty of Shepard is that he could be whatever kind of hero the player wanted him to be. A brutal leader willing to sacrifice everything and everyone to meet his goals. A natural-born diplomat willing to compromise for the benefit of everyone, or somewhere in between. For Andromeda to come even close to being as much of a powerful and emotional journey, Ryder needs to be able to make these decisions. Player choice is just one of the things I love most about Mass Effect.
Well, there it is. So that was my final one there, hard choices. So some people, I think there's a crowd that thinks, yes, there were plenty of hard choices in Andromeda, and I think there were plenty of difficult choices, but they didn't seem to have the same weight as Shepard in the original trilogy, and that could just be because Ryder isn't Shepard, and that's just kind of how I feel. Shepard is hard to match on that scale. And I also mentioned Paragon and Renegade, which did not return, as we saw. BioWare felt that that was distinctly Shepard and should stay with Shepard in the original trilogy and not be carried on to Ryder in Andromeda. That's also something where I look back and I think, I'm not sure that I liked that it changed. I know I made another video where I was like, this is a good change. Let's see how it turns out. I'm, open to change, but again, in hindsight, after looking back, I do wish we had some kind of Paragon and Renegade. So I do feel that there were some tough decisions to make in Andromeda, but they didn't quite feel as impactful as Shepard in the original trilogy to me. So guys, that's it for this video. It was kind of fun to look back at one of my older pieces of content and listen to it with you guys. It was kind of fun. I know some YouTubers do that every now and then. But yeah, let me know what you wanted from Mass Effect Andromeda before you knew what you were going to get. You know what I mean? Your speculative expectations, and did they match up with what you actually got in Andromeda? I think it's interesting to look back at this point and really examine what we wanted, if it worked. If you stayed till the end and enjoyed the video, click the like button and subscribe for more content. Check out my latest videos by clicking the links on screen. Follow me on Twitter and Facebook so you don't miss another video. Sign up with Juniper to receive exclusive discounts on shirts, hoodies, and more at the JV merch store. Click the link for more details. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.